I was stabbed 6 times. 6 times by a black guy in a white car. That's all I remember. Now the reason why he stabbed me, it's a stupid reason. It's road rage. What happened was I was driving and he was parked on a double yellow line where he's not supposed to park, and he was stopping all the traffic. So I drove by, maybe I was slightly close to him, so he thought I was trying to bully him or something. So I drove one way and I got into the lane. He drove on the inside lane where you're not supposed to drive, and he looked at me, and we were at the traffic lights. Okay, and the traffic lights went green. I started to move off. He closed the door. He closed me in. I thought, this guy's crazy. So I drove around on the other side of the road, and he closed the door. He made me go on the other side of the road. I thought, this guy wants trouble. He came out of the car and he spread his arms like this. Hey, like, he was really aggressive. And I stupidly, I came out of the car and I grabbed him here and I put him on the floor, and he said to me, "Oh, the police are coming." I said, "I don't care about the police." I grabbed him here and I put him on top of my car on the bonnet, and I was gonna punch him. But at that moment I thought, what am I doing? He's not fighting. So I said, "I'm sorry." I just left him alone. There was another black guy. He came and he said, "Hey, he's not worth it. Just leave him alone." As I was saying to him, well, you didn't see what happened before. He tried to close me in. As I was saying that, this guy moved away, and the black guy started stabbing me. And, if somebody asks you, what does it feel like to be stabbed? This is what it feels like this. Somebody just going like this, just poking you. So he poked me a few times, and I thought he was trying to hurt me. I thought he was punching me. I didn't know he had a knife. So I said to him, "Is that it? Is that all you've got?" And he walked away. He coolly kind of walked away and to his car, and he drove off. But then I realized the first place he hit me, I started to have, it was a red circle, and it got bigger and bigger and bigger here. And, a woman said, "You've been stabbed." And I didn't want to believe it. I wanted to get inside the car and go after him. There were two girls who were students. They were studying to be nurses. And they said, "You can't go anywhere. You've just been stabbed. You're bleeding." And that's when I realized, oh, maybe it's true. I have been stabbed. Because I didn't feel anything. Just felt slightly dizzy, and I could see the blood. But, then the ambulance came, and they took me to a hospital, and they prepared me for theater. They put a catheter inside my genital area organ, which was horrible, and they prepared me for theater. But luckily, the guy who stabbed me was a small knife, maybe a box cutter or a Stanley knife, and they were worried about my left lung and spleen area, because that was the first stab, and the other stab was here, other areas where there aren't any organs, my hands. So that day, when I was in the hospital, I thought, wow, is this the day I'm going to die? That thought was, it was frightening, but it was also, it's like, when you hold your breath, it's like that. I had the thought and the feeling, I'm going to die. I'm aware of it, and I can't do anything about it. It was that kind of feeling. Whilst I was being prepared for theatre, they put the catheter inside my willy. I don't want to say the medical term. With the trolley, they pushed me into a lift. Inside the lift, 2 policemen had to come, and I said, and I wondered, why do they have to come? And then I think I'm not sure, because the message was because I was given morphine because I was in pain and I was anxious. And then as soon as they took me into the hospital, they took me in the trolley, and there were like 5 or 6, 8 people waiting there, and they told me, spread your hands like that. I had to put my hands out like that. One person was taking blood, another one was giving me like a tetanus injection, another one was, it's overwhelming. And then finally a lady, like an angel, she came and gave me morphine, and it's as if the whole room, everything just subsided, went down, and it was calm. It's a really weird feeling, so that morphine is unbelievable what it does to the person. Like, I was so stressed out, sweating, bleeding, and really nervous, and then she put this liquid in, and then everything just relaxed. It was really powerful. Yeah, so maybe the effects of that drug, I'm not sure what I heard, but the policeman then said, I have to be here just in case somebody comes back to finish the job. But then I heard something like, the policeman has to be there to witness the death. If I died, that the policeman has to witness it or something. Anyway, luckily the CT scan showed that there was no involvement with spleen or lung. So I went back the same evening, But I remember when I was there lying down with blood and everything, and I saw my dad came, but he couldn't be in the room. The door opened slightly, and he saw me, and then he started crying, because his son, was lying down there, and like with his hands like that, and blood everywhere, So I felt sorry for him that he had to see that, I told the police, I told the ambulance, please don't tell my mother because she's going through a chemotherapy. I don't want her to know anything. The stupid police, what they did is they told, maybe there was some problem with communication within their office or whatever. A policeman went to my house and they told them what happened. So when I arrived home in a dressing gown, I arrived home, and then my mother was crying. She hugged me, and I said, oh, it's okay. It's just a small thing. I tried to play it down as much as possible because, my mother was going through the real thing. She was going through cancer, chemotherapy. So I played it down. But, a mother always knows. She knew there was something wrong, something serious, And, I kind of explained to her. But, she knew, she can tell without knowing something happened to her son, something serious. So that was the experience in London, The police then told me, if it ever happens again, never come out of your car, stay inside your car because your car is your defense, your shield, Whatever they say, let them talk, let them smash the car, but stay inside the car. So that's, just my story about my experience in London. It was on Kilburn High Road. Anybody who has a knife and wants to use it to hurt someone should be put in jail. It doesn't matter if they're black, they're white, or whatever. Everybody should be punished. What are they doing? Walking around with a big knife, What's the point? The point is to protect yourself, but also that knife can be used to mug somebody, to kill somebody. If you can go around with a big knife, well, I'm going to go out with a big gun, But the normal people, the law-abiding people, they listen to the government. They obey the rules. They don't go out. They're not even allowed to go out with a little penknife or a little stick or anything. They're vulnerable to these criminals, And the criminals don't care. They go out with knives. Some go out with guns, And you know, the normal people, the law-abiding people are vulnerable. You know, the police, for example, now we don't see any more police patrols in our area. The police in our area, the police station was closed down because of the cuts in you know, police spending. You know, even the numbers of police are down. We never see police walking around. We used to see, you know, when I was younger, I used to see the police walking around, and you know, you feel safe. But now, nothing. You know, and there is more. The criminals are more free to walk around and do, you know, and do what they want because there is less police. So anyway, that's my story about me being stabbed 6 times in Kilburn. It's not a good story. It's a very good story because I was lucky, you know. Lucky because it was a small knife. Also lucky he didn't attack my arteries, you know, or any place where I would have died instantly, you know, or within a few minutes, you know. So, you know, cross my fingers and thank God that you know, he didn't kill me, because even with a small knife he could have killed me. So I thank God for that, and I thank him as well that he didn't go for this area. And also I forgive him because, you know, he's just an idiot. You know, he's walking around now. Hopefully he's changed. He doesn't use a knife anymore, and you know, he realizes he was stupid, you know, and not to carry a knife, because when you get into an altercation, it's better to use a fist but not a knife. You know, we're men, we can fight, but once you use a knife, if you cut someone, you kill them, then not only you destroy your own life, but you destroy the life of that man, his children, his parents, his siblings, his cousins, you know. So before people go out with a knife, they have to think 1,000 times, you know, because just one slice, one stab can kill not only one person but a whole family, as well as yourself, you know. Anyway, I'll talk about stabbing another time. I have a few more stories to tell you, but for now, bye. The police then told me, if it ever happens again, never come out of your car. You know, stay inside your car, because your car is your defense, your shield. And I'm thinking, yeah, there's not going to be a next time. If any person ever comes out of the car, I'll let them talk, you know. I'll stay in the car, because the car is not only my shield or defense, but a weapon. If somebody comes out with a gun or a knife, I'm going to knock them over. I don't care. You know, well, I'm not going to knock them over, but I mean, I'm going to try to get away. You know, if they're in the way, that's their problem, you know.